Let's see.
That's your living.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of My Morning Coffee Live, here with two of my favorite people, two of my favorite officers, Lieutenant Gia Neil and Captain Jon Naylor. I want you guys to, let's get started with John, jump right into it. What is in your cup and why? And what have you been up to? What's going on with you?
This is just your basic Folgers from the office break room.
Ill?
It's delicious.
That's all you got?
That's it. That's all we do. I've been pushing for a latte machine and it's not happening.
I heard, you guys have a pretty large budget. So that's what I heard, I'm just telling you what word is on the street. I heard, officers and police departments have so much money. I just can't imagine why you only have a coffee maker and someone to have to make it. Like what?
We should have a barista in here. See what happens when we put our three heads together?
I'm just saying.
A barista.
So how have things
like satellite office.
Great. How have things been with you and your department and everything in the community that you serve?
Overall, everything's been good. We've been staying busy. The holidays, you can almost see it. I'm sure Gia can say the same. As soon as Halloween ends and you start getting close to Thanksgiving and Christmas, unfortunately, emotions, stress, all that kind of comes into play, and things get real busy until you can almost count it till like the end of the year. You see more, there's more, maybe more partying, more alcohol, more.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some like sad things occur. You see, some suicides, things like that go up. But it's, you can almost see it for like right after Halloween, and it goes till about the end of the year. So we're going through it right now. Unfortunately, something always occurs in the city that's extra sad around the holidays, and so we've been doing a lot of training. We've been doing a lot of beefing up patrols, and that's it.
Wow. You want to tell us what's going on with the badge?
Yeah, so this is in honor of a CHP officer that was that died in the line of duty last week, up kind of and he was a motorcycle officer for the CHP that was involved in a collision while he was responding to a call for service, and he passed away. So that's again, it's like almost every year, we see an officer somewhere in our general area that gets seriously injured or dies in the line of duty right around the holidays. It just never fails.
Wow.
Being out on the roads right now after dark, and you just got to be more cautious. People have to be more responsible right now, not to drink and drive, arrive to their location safely. And then you throw COVID on top of it, and not a lot of people want to jump in an Uber right now. I know that's not the top of my list. So people just have to take extra care during this time.
Thanks for sharing. Gia, you were going to say something?
I was going to say that usually this time of year, it's kind of slow as far as, for law enforcement, arrests and things like that, because it's a holiday. But even though it's slow there, it picks up in other areas of our job. Like you were saying, this holiday times is always sad for a lot of people. So you have a lot of emotional stuff going on, emotional crisis with people. So we do spend a lot of time responding to things like that. And then, like you said, it's always something tragic happens for some reason around the holidays that also has emotions up and just makes it sad. So it's a different kind of work doing, like you said, after October to the end of the year, but it's still police work, but it's just a different feeling. Because, the summertime, everybody's out, it's hot, you have more stuff going on in the summertime, in the spring than you do in the winter. And I think it's too, because it's cold. and then we're all in the house together, and then people don't really like each other that they live with. And so then you get those kind of calls, and stuff, and all the families in the house. And then, like you said, you put COVID in here now. So we got, you got your cousin, your auntie, your grandmama, your mama, your daddy, your boyfriend, and your girlfriend over, and and everybody mad because the governor said we can't go nowhere, we can't do nothing. And then you start looking at each other, and then you be like, and every little thing, like, God, I can breathe wrong. Shoot, why are you breathing like that? And stuff. And then that causes an argument. One
True.
thing, and then we have to get called, that somebody calls the police because it gets kind of heated, and then, we show up. But it's more as I think it's a lot, I call them emotional crimes during this time of the year.
Are you trying to tell me something about Jeff? Do I need to come over there and handle him? Like what?
Oh, no, I got Jeff under control.
That's my kind of girl. So what's in your cup? Yeah. What's in your cup? What's been going on?
I have coffee in my cup today. Because we're having this conversation today. So I figured, let me get some coffee in case we get some questions that are kind of like way out there and wild and bold. I wanted to be alert.
Now, where would you get those?
Be able to provide some feedback in some of the questions. But no, I just have some coffee to wake me up. I have a busy day today, kind of busy. I need to go to my studio and do some work there. And,
Bless you.
I'm sorry, that's sassy what you got on. What?
Oh, I couldn't wear my uniform like John, because I'm actually, it's my day off. So I figured I would put on at least some green, the same color as what we wear in the Sheriff's Department. So I have one of my sweatshirts that I made. Let me see if I can stand up. And it just says dope, dopish, and dopest. It's a mahogany box design. So I'm just rocking, my brand, so to speak.
Wow.
And, some of my I made. So I wanted to be blingy because it's the holiday time too. So I figured I'd bring some bling to my morning coffee.
Well, okay then.
Look at John. John like, what?
That is really good. I just wore my uniform. I thought, man, I'll wear a long sleeve today.
Oh, super formal?
Outdone.
That was formal?
Yeah, but we like it. You look good in uniform, John, and look,
Thank you.
If the guys don't like it, I'm gonna tell you a little secret. Every woman out there loves a man in uniform. So
really,
yes. Huh. They might say they don't.
I'll look silly going to the store in my uniform.
Hey.
The grocery store, ain't that where they pick them up? Go to church. Go to church.
Yeah, go to church. I'm saying go to church, Hey, go look. When I get some milk in your uniform.
Okay. Awesome.
I can't.
Oh,
terrible. So listen, I didn't have the coffee this morning. All right.
No, you got soda.
I had to get it started. I needed a kick to deal with you.
I can't believe that you're a Pepsi girl, though, Tanya. That's kind of disturbing. I'm a Coke girl, and I can't believe that you drink Pepsi. So we have to, that we might have a little rivalry on the show because Pepsi, I don't know.
Really?
Yes, I'm a Coke. Yes.
Coke takes the lining off of things. I want to keep my organs. Just saying. So yeah, we are back to school. We're our second week back to school from vacation, homeschooling. So I got my Pepsi, but I'm gonna get my coffee too, because I need all of the above to get through this homeschooling situation. And for those that don't know, I have 3 that are homeschooling and my college boy is back. So I'm just trying to keep up. You know what I'm saying? I think they'd be trying to run circles around me sometimes. So I have to keep up. And then keep up with you 2 today. So I wanted to make sure I was ready and I was alert. And I didn't sleep that well last night either. I haven't been able to run and work out because this weather is kicking our tail. It's been like 40 degrees in the morning. So we did muscle up some strength and go last week. And I think Ray got pneumonia and I'm a hot mess. So we got to find something to do. But check this out. I've been talking to people about Peloton. What are you guys doing to stay in shape? Well, Gia got the boot on, so whatever. What are you doing?
Is that for me?
Yeah, what are you doing to stay in shape? Because you sound like you eat pretty good.
I am, I'm eating very good right now, super clean. I'm still drinking a lot of coffee. But other than that, I walk. It helps like relieve some stress. I don't really run as much anymore. I used to run 3 miles 2 or 3 times a week down on the chips in Hermosa. But now I pretty much just walk and chase my kids around. I built up quite a sweat yesterday dealing with my front yard and changing out sprinklers.
Oh, Lord.
So that added some stress, didn't really take any away.
Okay.
That's about it. I mean, I try and eat good, and you know, I don't drink any soda anymore, and just a lot of water, some coffee, which it's not great, but you got to give me something.
It works. Good enough.
But I'm totally fine.
Well, Tanya, as you said, I had my brace on yesterday, so I haven't really been doing too much of exercise. I've been doing a couple of challenges. Like a couple of months ago, me and Jeff did a squat challenge, and this month we're doing that. I think it's for the American Heart Association. It's the 50 squats a day. So we're doing that. But yesterday I had put my brace on. I've had it for about 3 weeks, and the doctor told me like wear like an hour just to get used to it. So yesterday I wore it out because we had some errands to run, and that's supposed to help me. He made it so when I want to exercise, when I want to walk, it's supposed to provide support for my ankle, because that's the problem. I'm not getting any support, and that's why I'm having the problem with my ankle, because I don't have an arch. My arch is completely, I guess, gone now. So so yeah, so I was testing the brace out yesterday. So it seems to be okay. I haven't really done any really extensive walking, but I plan to get out there and put my feet on the ground and get to moving, so I can get it together, because, you know, retirement is coming, and I want to be healthy in retirement. I want to be able to do all the things that I used to do in my 20s. So my running joke now at work is, I tell the kids at work, I'm working on my my Instagram body. So I'm trying to get that back to, you know, when I was 20. So that's the joke at work. Whenever they say something, they'll say LT something. I said, look, I'm working on my Instagram body. Leave me alone. You know, so.
I'm done. John, aren't you close to
That's
retirement?
it.
John, aren't you close to retirement also?
I have 3 more years or so. Yeah, I'm 47. I could retire when I'm 50, and we'll see.
You working on your Instagram body too?
Oh, all day.
It's a thing, Tanya. It's a thing. It's like that Peloton bike you want to talk about. It's a thing, you know?
Listen, I just heard about it. I'm taking suggestions.
I've heard it's great. I've heard it's,
Yeah.
I know some people here that have it. And
Really?
yeah, Peloton.
Yeah.
I heard it's like
I heard it's great too, but it's also another one. There's another bike too that's like a Peloton. It's, I guess, the competitor that's not as expensive as the Peloton, because I think what it is, everybody's in the Peloton because, you know, it's the thing.
Yeah.
But it's a little more expensive than the other bike. I forgot the name of the other bike. I want to say, I think Echelon might be another brand of the same type of bike that a lot of people, I know people that work to have both bikes. So, well, actually not a lot of people, there's 2 people. I know one, the nurses, they both are nurses. One has a Peloton and the other one has, I believe, the Echelon bike. So they like it.
Good to hear. So listen, conversation came to me. Gia and I have always talked about, with everything that took place over the summer, you know, it kind of leaves us in this weird space where people want to see change, but they want to have the conversations when things are hot. And since things aren't hot right now, they're kind of mild, I guess, maybe even cold. Wanted to get into some of the changes or the way that our communities can engage with law enforcement without it being so contentious, but still being purposeful and effective. So whichever one of you want to take it first, I'd love to hear your ideas about that and how we as a society can accomplish change between the law enforcement and the communities they serve without it being so contentious, and even preventing those moments where it does kind of hit the fan. Don't jump in too fast, either one of you.
Wow.
Mm.
Well, like Tanya, like you said, we always have this conversation, and like I said, we shouldn't wait. No community should wait until something really bad happens in the community to want to have a conversation with their local law enforcement, our local government, period, because it never goes over well, because everybody's heated, everybody has their opinion, they're mad about whatever, and they don't want to hear, the other side. They don't want to hear anything. It's just what they want to hear, their side, that kind of thing. And I think all police departments, agencies have community relations at their stations or in their departments that do engagement with the community. And I think people need to get out and get involved in that more. Contact your local police departments and their public relations departments or the community relations department, and see how you can volunteer or get involved, or just get to know the police officers in your area that police your community. That's the problem. We have people coming in, you come in the community, you don't know the community, you're in your black and white, we're in our black and white, we're driving around, we're waiting for a car, we're waiting to, if we observe a crime, to do something, and we're not really sometimes engaging the community, but the community is not engaging police officers either. So it's a two-way thing. You have to, we're human, it's not like, we're no different than you. Some of us are your next door neighbors, believe it or not. So and we go to the same grocery stores you go to, the same gas stations, we got the same utility companies. When your gas out, our gas be out too, all that kind of stuff. So we're not these mean and evil people as the media has portrayed us to be. A lot of times we're good people. We have some of the same issues that the community has with their family. We dealing with stuff with our families too. But we still, we just need to get involved and talk, have a conversation, strike up a conversation. When you see a police officer, like when I'm out and I'm off duty and I'm going places and I see cops, I see LAPD in uniform at this place where I'm eating at, I go up and talk to them. I don't even tell them who I am. I just go talk to them as a citizen. They don't need to know that I'm Lieutenant Gia Neil, L.A. County Sheriff's Department. I'm just, hey, how's it going, you guys? I'm just being polite. And that goes a long way, because you'd be surprised sometimes when you do speak to officers, how they're like, wow, and they, that guard they have up, sometimes you can see it kind of, relax and everything. It's like, oh, okay, and stuff. It's not, oh, and I'm getting ready to have a negative contact with this person. It's actually a positive contact. So I just think we need to have more conversations. Don't wait till, you're mad at me because I didn't do something you wanted me to do, to come and want to talk to me, because it ain't gonna go over well. It never does.
In or out of a uniform.
Right.
In or out.
I'm the same civilian and in the uniform.
Crazy. Officer Naylor.
Well, I think Gia hit it on the head. I mean, that's the one thing that all police departments really need to be doing right. That's one of them. It's one of the things they need to be doing right now, which is trying to humanize the badge. Police departments got to come up with ways of showing that cops are they're just people. I'm just a guy. I'm your neighbor, like Gia said. I'm the guy that was mowing my lawn this weekend, was out digging up my my sprinkler heads that I busted while mowing the lawn, and then made it worse, and then literally picked up one of the sprinkler heads and chucked it across my yard. I'm just the same as everybody else. It's like, I have 2 kids. We're dealing with COVID just like you are. My kids go to school. I had to wake up this morning extra early to take my daughter to cross country, which she didn't tell me about that until about 9:30 last night. Same stuff. It's the same stuff everybody else deals with. I put on my hard hat, so to speak, or my suit to go to work, or my boots, just like everybody else does. My job happens to be being a police officer. No better, no worse than anybody else. And so we all go through the same type of stuff. And it's easy to say, Tanya, when we get together like this and we talk, it's easy to say. But the real challenge is that police departments they've got to get that information out. And Tanya, you and I have talked about this before. We've also talked about the fact that police departments have to constantly re-examine what we're doing. We got to not just, I can't just look at things, you know, what's going on in Redondo Beach or Hermosa or Manhattan or the South Bay, but we got to look at it. We got to look at it nationally.
Yeah.
And our policies and our practices are still applicable to what's going on in the nation. If not, we've got to change them, and we've got to be okay with that. So we're doing a lot of that. We're re-examining policies. We're looking at ways that we're using even our drones, our canines, our use of force policy. All that stuff constantly has to be re-examined, and it's okay to do. So I always encourage police departments, you know, people that I talk to. I go to monthly captains meetings for South Bay police departments, and we talk about it. It's like, old days are done. You know, now it's time to really take a look at things and be okay with it. It's fine. You have to take input from your community.
Yes.
And we've done a ton of that lately. Tanya and I speak about things a lot, you know, and she's got great perspective, that some things that I just don't consider. Again, I'm a human being. I don't know this job inside and out. I can't tell you everything that every person in my community wants. We have a good idea, but we need our community to help us out. So doing things like we started our community engagement board, which Tanya's a member of. And we started that in 2017. Other departments aren't doing it. But I always encourage other captains and other agency members from other police agencies to do a community board. It's simple. It's asking a group of people from your community to come in and weigh in on ideas, to come and meet every now and then. How I met Tanya was that she called. You called about, I think, speaking to the police chief about maybe the Women's League of Voters or.
Yep.
And that's literally how I met her, and then she became part of our community engagement board. But she had concerns, she had questions, and she stepped forward to communicate with us. There's, you know, now we have a great relationship where I've learned a lot from her. I've taken a lot of her recommendations and implement them where I can. So yeah. I just encourage police departments to do that type of stuff, you know, like now. Policing now is so different, and so, we have to listen to our community. We have to take recommendations. We have to engage them. We're doing a lieutenant's promotional exam this week, and we're promoting a sergeant to lieutenant, which is a really, really important job, Gia, as you know.
Yes.
In our agency, especially for our small agency, it's a huge step. And on one of our boards, we have actually 3 members of 2 members of the community and 1 from the city, another city department. But Tanya's on that board, or on that.
I know that's something I think I don't know if it's new to you guys, but I think that's something new that's happening because I believe the sheriff's department, we started doing something like that, not for lieutenant per se, but I think for the rank of captain, they started doing something like that. The interview process with citizens from the community on the board. That's something new that the sheriff. I'm not that familiar with it because, you know, I'm kind of like on my way out the door, so I haven't really paid much attention to that. But I believe there's something like that, and that's something new, and that's something good because it gives also the community a little more insight on the job of a police officer. And I think in the past, you know, we've been doing a lot of people, a lot of jobs or careers have been doing things the way they've been doing them in the past. And just like society is changing, the police department is changing, the way we do business is changing, and we have to change with that too. One thing I do like about what you said about Tanya, you know, she asks a lot of questions. A lot of people might think, you know, Tanya just loves cops, but no, I don't think it's that she just loves cops. Tanya is just very inquisitive, and she asks questions if something doesn't seem right, and she'll ask the hard questions. She's not, you know, people don't think she does not asking us soft questions. She comes with me. She'll come and ask me stuff, and it's, you know, and you're like, whoa, you know, stuff, but she wants to know, and I don't mind telling her, and I think that helps her get a different perspective on our job because, you know, a lot of people know what we do, but they don't really know what we do, so to speak. You know, like she's known for years. oh yeah, Gia, so, she's a sheriff, but for years she didn't probably really know what my job really was. She just knows, oh, sheriff, they wear a uniform, they got a badge, they got a gun, they drive around in the car, that kind of thing and stuff. That's what most people know about police officers and stuff. But they don't know the day-to-day aspects of our jobs and the stuff that we deal with and things like that. So I think by her asking questions and getting involved, she, it helped her understand policing a little bit different than the way she saw it as a citizen. And that's the problem too. A lot of people, we only seeing things one way. You seeing it as your contact or the contact that your cousin had, or, or your sister had, or your brother had, or your mama had with the police, and it might not always been nice. So again, now you have this thing about, law enforcement, and it's not you have a bad thing about law enforcement, and we shouldn't have a bad thing about law enforcement. It should be, if anything, a neutral. Yeah, it's gonna be times when you're not gonna like the things that we have to do, but that's part of the job. But there's also a lot of good things that police officers do that sometimes you would never know, because that's the stuff that's not put out in the forefront. The media is not calling and getting the story on that. But people are doing good things. When and that's what I think needs to be talked about too more. It's not just the negative things that has been happening. Talk about some of the positive things, and then be a part of the change. Stop sitting back, just pointing the fingers and saying this. Let's roll our sleeves up and talk about some stuff. Come up with some solutions. And we should try some stuff.
So since you're talking about the good stuff, I'm gonna put it out there. We had in Redondo Beach our very first MLK celebration. And if I'm not wrong, I almost think it was John's idea and he made it look like it was my idea. I digress. Anyways, it was a very big production that we put on, and we wanted to make sure that it represented the significance in this city. And during this period of putting this event on, John actually started going through some things. So I'm going to give it to him. But what my question is even with something as humanizing as what he went through, and feel free to talk about that, he still continued to do his job. And when you think about people in any other job, if their family or they are going through something traumatic or serious, most of the time they'll take time off, right? They'll use that as an opportunity to be like, I don't care that much about these people. I'm about to take a time out and deal with my life, and then I'll be back when I'm back. But he didn't do that. So there's something to be said about officers that take their job and their duty that seriously, that they don't just say, forget about this. I'll get back to it later. So I'd like to hand it to you, John, and ask you, why would you even continue to push through when you were in a situation where you really could have just been like, time out. Not right now. I don't got time for y'all.
Yeah. So yeah, my she was 11 years old at the time. My daughter got sick with cancer. She has a sarcoma. It was totally a surprise. Caught us way out of left field. She's doing good right now. We did 42 weeks of treatment, and still got a little road ahead of us, but we're charging through it. She feels great. She looks great. But yeah, it rocked our world, our entire family. And it happened in first week in November, and we were planning the MLK celebration for January. So I took like 2 weeks off. It was tough at the time when somebody gets diagnosed with cancer. The first at least month and a half is nothing but bad news after bad news, and then you figure out what it is and you go after it. And so I took about 2 weeks off, and what I realized was me and her mom and my mom and everybody, we just kind of stared at my daughter. Like, do you need something? And it, so there was an opportunity to go back to work, try and keep some normalcy. But, so that was one reason I came back to work pretty quickly. I needed to, I have responsibilities to take care of, just like everybody else does. So I wanted to tend to those. I also wanted to kind of show my family and people here at work that, we're getting through it. We're going to keep things as normal as possible. And it's tough, toughest thing ever. But, that's that. Yeah. So it was.
But you didn't have to put as much effort as you did. The extra meetings, the extra attention to details to the people in our team that you were working with. You didn't have to do all of that, right? There was something in you that, and you ain't a brother, so it ain't like the MLK celebration was personal to you, or was it, right? And if it is, talk me through that.
Yeah. So it was. It wasn't for a couple of different reasons. I think celebration of MLK, number one, is important. But number two, I think it was kind of a turning point in our agency. And it was something we were doing that was, it was special. And we were working with a special group of people. What we were doing, I think, was something that will be remembered. And so it was important that we did that. It was important that we did it as a group. It wasn't my idea. I was having lunch with another board member, Goody Goodlow, and he brought up doing something, and then we started putting our heads together, and then we came up with this. So it was the three of us really, and we hit it out of the park, man. I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot. It was great. I mean, we had more people than we expected. It went off perfectly. It was impactful. People liked it. I think it accomplished the mission that we wanted, was to build more trust with people. And getting back to the community board, Gia, I just wanted to say that it's important, like with Tanya, the way, she asks questions, and she does like the police, but I think she's fair. And that's what's important about a community board. Having a panel of people get together that just want to say, oh, what a great job you guys do. It's a waste of time. Total waste of time.
Yeah.
And so our panel is not a board of pro police people. And that's not what we wanted. We wanted to make sure that it was a panel of diverse community members who wanted to provide recommendations and help the police department out. Man, some of those meetings, they do get frustrating because there's a lot of different opinions coming out.
Yeah.
So anyways.
Well, I know your board is not that way with Tanya on the board, because Tanya will ask you some questions. She'll come out of left field sometime, and I'll be like, oh, we were talking about something really nice, and then she'll come with something, and I'll be like, oh, okay. I got to put on my police hat and I got to answer some questions, and she don't stop either. She don't let like, you think you're gonna brush over it. She digs deep, but that's what I love. That's one of the many things that I love about Tanya. She's not afraid to ask. She's not afraid to ask questions, and she's not afraid to ask the 12 questions. And she's really genuine and she wants to know. And I think that's really good. And I think a lot of people, we all should be that way about a lot of things, because it helps us to be better people, better citizens too. Yeah. And back to your MLK program, I didn't make it to the program, but I saw highlights, and I would talk to Tanya knowing when you guys were getting ready for the program and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of know what was going on, but it did bring, it put you guys, your community out there in a positive way. And a lot of people probably didn't really pay much attention to Redondo Beach. But after the MLK thing, I think it really opened up a lot of people's eyes. At least for me, it did, because I'm already trying to think about when I retire, maybe coming in and getting me a little consulting job with the police department or something to help you guys out with your community involvement and engagement. Because, I am a minority and I've been on the police department, so I know the job, and I'm a citizen too, so of a community. So I think I could, I think I could help you guys out in growing your diversity in your city. And I know that's what you guys really want to do. So we'll talk off the podcast, Captain.
So, that might be a lunch discussion.
Yes.
Happy hour. Listen, I appreciate all the kind words. I don't really know if they were kind, but whatever. The question though is, as nice as that sounded, what you say, oh, you guys get involved, like we want you to get involved, get involved. To a lot of people, that sounds like gibberish. Okay, we can't brush over the fact that being an officer is intimidating. Okay, first of all, it is an authority figure. It is very authoritative. So kids sometimes don't ask their parents because of that fear of authority. So really nail down for me and for the people that are listening, how do you go about getting involved or shake the fear or the angst of coming into contact with an officer in a way that's genuine and productive without them feeling like, you're just trying to kiss my tail because I might have something going on. Like there's so many reasons why people don't come up and approach police officers.
Yeah.
So I want you to tap into that. And how do you defeat that feeling of that angst, that not wanting to do that?
Yeah. So that's the $1 million question. That's
Right.
what we're constantly striving to do right now. But what you're saying is you want us to change somebody else's feelings. That's a tough ask, but it can be done. If somebody's got 25 years of a certain feeling, and now we're tasked with trying to change the way they feel, and they feel that way because they've been wrong, they don't trust, and we've got to change that now. That's a huge ask, but that's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to do. That's the movement. So it starts with your hiring. You have to look at hiring. We used to hire people that were like, oh, you're right out of the military? Let's do it. Get in the police car. We're going to do some police work. Now we're looking for people to hire that fit different categories. Sure, military experience is important. But we want to know now, how do you solve problems using outreach, resource, and community engagement? Those are the questions that you have to ask. That's the type of person you have to find for this job, who can solve problems, not just by arresting people, by being outreach driven, by being resource driven, and by looking to the community to solve problems. So that's where it starts. We changed our complete vision a few years ago. And the vision is we are the community leading the way in law enforcement. That's one step, but that's the step in changing the culture of your police department to actually believe it. So when you have officers that actually believe that they are part of this community, even though they live in West Covina, if they believe they're part of this community, it changes the model in which they work. It's like they go out for a car burglary report, right? We take dozens of those. But if you feel like you're actually part of this community, you're going to call out the CSI team. You're going to talk to that victim a little bit more. You're going to give them some ideas of what they can do to protect their property next time. You're going to provide extra patrol. You're going to call them back a couple days later and go, hey, how's everything going? Any issues? You're going to provide that level of service. Doing those types of things not only changes the culture, but it also, I believe, will give our community the feeling that we truly care, we truly are here, we're truly part of the community, and that builds trust.
Now, can that work in a larger agency like LA County Sheriff? Because it sounds great, but the conversations that I've had are basically stating that the smaller agencies can do that. You can get
What
engaged.
station do you work at, Gia?
Right now, I'm at the women's jail right now, but I've worked at Carson Station, I've worked Compton Station, I've worked Lenox Station. So
how many officers are at the Carson Station?
oh, I couldn't tell you that.
80?
Huh?
80?
Maybe 80 to 100.
Right. So we have 2 officers here in Redondo Beach. The Sheriff's Department, LAPD, is nothing but a conglomerate of smaller agencies.
Yeah.
Right? We could be the Sheriff's Department, right? We could farm it out to the sheriffs. They can come in and police. We'd just be another sheriff's station. Every station, no matter where you work, Los Angeles Police Department, conglomerate of a bunch of stations, California. Same with the Sheriff's Department. They're just Redondo Beach stations.
Yeah.
handled by the sheriff of the county. Each station can implement that. They have a hiring unit, the sheriff's does, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Recruitment.
But,
They can implement all of these types of things. They can recruit for these same type of characteristics.
and all agents, all police departments, I believe, larger ones in this day and age are doing that. They're doing some of the same things that small agencies are doing. It's just probably hard for you to see it because it's a larger department. But we have a community advisory board. I don't know what it might not be called the same thing as Redondo Beaches, but each station has something like that too, where we have Citizens on Wheels, I believe, are called a community, something like that, or used to be called that. So everybody has it, but like the captain was saying, it's a hard ask when you're asking us to change people's thought process, their mindset about police officers. That's a hard ask, okay? But like I've always said, you have to get engaged, and you say, yeah, it's an authoritative position, and people are afraid to come talk to us. But when they're mad, when something goes wrong, they're not afraid because they're in our faces then saying things. So that's why I have to beg to differ when you say that. Okay, the same fire you have when you're mad about something, and you have no problem in coming to approaching a police officer, talking to them, or getting in their face about something. Change that, and when nothing's going on that you're mad about, have that same fire and engage police officers. That's the whole thing. It's like we put this out. We're gonna have this conversation today on My Morning Coffee, and you put out, send in questions, emails to question, all that kind of stuff. Did we get any questions?
I got 2.
Okay, you see what I'm saying? But if something was heated going on right now in law enforcement, you probably would have 50 questions, okay? And that's what you and I talk about, Tanya. It's like, don't wait till you're mad to come ask Gia something when you're mad. Okay, I want your opinion, Gia, because you mad because this happened. No, well, ain't nothing happening right now. And come,
Ain't got nothing to say.
You ain't got nothing to say. You ain't got nothing for us. You ain't got nothing. So that's what I say, we have to, everybody has to change their mindset about policing, about police officers, police departments and stuff. Yeah, there are going to be times when you don't like us, but then you should be liking us the majority of the time because we are there. Our job is to help you guys. Our job is to protect and serve, and to the best of our abilities. And that's the thing, when you have that burglary call, we come, we take a report, we try to find the person who broke into your house and stole your stuff, or broke into your car and stole your stuff, or stole your car. Our job is to apprehend that person, and we do a good job in doing that. Okay, and any other crime, our job is to solve the crime. We're here to help you. We're not here to create more discomfort in your life. We are here to help, but sometimes our job does cause discomfort because there are bad people out there who happen to be my cousin or my brother, or maybe my husband, my sister, my auntie, or something like that has to get arrested sometime, so it's not personal. It's just part of the job. And I think the community thinks this stuff is personal, no, at least not for me. When I was out 1080 in a radio car and I had to go answer calls, it was about a job. It didn't matter what you look like. If there was a crime committed and I got the call, I'm on the job, I'm doing it. And if I got to arrest you, if I got to arrest Johnny going to jail. If I got to arrest Pookie going to jail. I'm not treating Pookie and Johnny any different, okay? They all the same at that time. They all criminals. They all done did something, they committed a crime, so they going to jail. But that's me. That's my personality. But that's the thing. I think a lot of other officers are out there that are like me. They just are doing their job. And it's not a personal thing. Oh, today I'm putting my uniform today and I'm just going to go out here and I just want to just wreak havoc on this community. That's not what we do. And that's kind of how sometimes we are portrayed, but that's not what we do.
So when I moved here, and I don't want people to get the wrong idea. Yeah, I ask a lot of questions, and there are some times where I'm a little gun shy about asking because I am afraid of the answer. When I moved here, I was told that Redondo Beach is a very racist place, and the police officers are very racist. So they were having coffee with a cop around the corner, and I was tired of being worried about what that looks like for my 3 sons, right? So they were having coffee with the cop. I just went over there one morning and I ran into Mike Dyer before he retired, and I was just like, hey, so look, this is what I've been told. I heard you guys are incredibly racist. When you see Black people, you treat them like they're suspects rather than citizens. And I want some answers because I got kids here. And while we're in this coffee shop, I know you ain't gonna do nothing to me.
Wrong.
But that was the best conversation I ever had with an officer because I had no idea how that was going to turn out. Like I like doing that. I like coming out of my own comfort zone because, like you said before, it's a growth opportunity. Growth opportunity for me to know that I'm brave enough to get through something that I'm worried about or scared about. And then whatever the answer was, of course, was incredibly helpful and delightful. And that's exactly why I wound up getting involved with other parts of the police department. But that was my first encounter. I was like, look, this is what I heard, but we got to talk about it because I live here and I don't want no problems. And
Yeah, I think it's important for people to know we don't have to do coffee with a cop. We don't get an award for doing it. We don't get money for doing it. Matter of fact, we spend money doing it. We do it because we want to engage the community. We want those types of questions as well. It is to just get to know each other better. That's all coffee with a cop is. It's such a crazy idea at the beginning was we're just gonna have coffee and chat. That's nuts.
Yeah, coffee with a cop is just
But I
like
don't know who thought it was more nuts, the police or the community members, because the community members were like,
what are you doing?
are you gonna check our IDs when we come in? No,
We're gonna catch.
we're just gonna have coffee. Yeah.
and coffee. Who doesn't like that?
Yeah.
So, we're doing it for all the right reasons. But again, that's whoever told you that, I think, didn't really have my own opinion. I don't think that's an accurate depiction of this community. But now and this department is tasked with trying to change that person's feelings.
Good luck.
I don't know how they came up with those feelings, what happened to them,
What?
but
Well,
that's
see,
the job.
okay, see, John, and you say that, and it's funny because I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, and that is kind of like how we view a lot of the South-based cities. And it was funny because when I heard Tanya was coming back to Southern California and she was moving to Redondo Beach, I kind of said the same thing, like, why the hell you moving to Redondo Beach? They racist as hell in Redondo Beach. Okay, and I'm a cop, and I said that, okay? But that's because growing up, and we just keeping it real, John, because I like you, I love you actually. You my peeps and stuff.
Love you too.
So I feel I can keep it real with you. That's what we do here on My Morning Coffee too. We keep it real, and I just shoot from the hip with no chaser sometimes. So I'll say some stuff, be way off the cuff and everything, but I'm still a good person. So that's how we in the community, we minorities, Black people, that was our perception of a lot of South Bay cities and stuff. And that's because, like she said, a lot of our cousins and brothers, didn't really favor well in those cities. When they would go in those cities, they would probably, get stopped a lot by the cops and stuff like that. So that's just years. That's even before my time. I'm sure in the 70s, that's probably where it started, the 60s and the 70s, that these cities were racist, and it just continued on. Here we are in the 2000s, and people still have that or say that. Now it's not true, because a lot of stuff that people say and stuff we hear ain't really true, but that's just people just putting stuff out there. So I get it. I get what Tanya's saying. She felt that way, and a lot of people, and I said, girl, yes, you moving to Redondo Beach? Don't nobody Black live in Redondo Beach. That's what we would say, and stuff. So I was like, so then she would come back. Well, yes, it is. It's three of us here, and we would laugh about that.
Yeah. So those are the feelings that we're trying to overcome. And
right.
But let me tell you this: I grew up in Lawndale. My parents are still there, and you know who patrols Lawndale?
The sheriffs.
Yeah. It's the first time I was ever stopped by the police. I was about 14 years old, and I was in front of my buddy's house around the corner from Mark Twain's school in Lawndale. And it was December, so naturally we were shooting off fireworks. And
December.
We had skyrockets and we were lighting them off at each other. We were having a good time. All of a sudden, the sheriff's car pulls around the corner and they jam us all. Again, I'm 14. So this deputy jumps out of the car, tells us all to put our hands on the hood. And my older brother just walked into my buddy's house. So he's watching the whole thing from inside the house. And so here I am with my hands on my car, on the hood of the car, and I'm scared. And so he walks around, he starts searching us, and he goes to each one of my buddies. Do you have any fireworks on you? And of course, no. And then he'd pull out a handful of fireworks, you know, whack, and he'd hit him in the back of the head, slap him in the back of the head. And then so he does that to one of my buddies, then does it to my buddy Chris, who was right next to me. Of course, Chris had a pack of fireworks in his pocket. Whack! Hits him in the back of the head for lying. And then he comes up to me and he says, "You got any fireworks?" I said, "No." And I had a whole sweatshirt full of skyrockets. Reaches in, pulls out the skyrockets, throws them on the hood of the car, whack, and slapped me right across the back of the head. And you know, when you get that little, you get hit, he kind of hit my ear and you hear that. Ding. Yeah. So my whole side of my face was red. I heard that tingling. And that was my first interaction with the police. And my brother was in the house laughing. And I was pissed. So I went, you know, they took all our fireworks and my brother, and he left, and my brother came out and he said, "What happened?" I said, I lied, and he slapped me in the back of the head. And I said, "I'm pissed. I'm going to go tell Mom." And I go home and my brother follows me, walk around the corner to my house. And of course, my mom says, "What happened?" I said, he hit me. She said, "Why? What happened?" Well, I lied to him about having fireworks in my pocket. She said, "Good, you deserved it." I was pissed. But that was my first interaction with the police. And that was with the sheriff's department. I do not believe that all deputies handle calls for service like that. I believe that was one person. So when I hear about people talking about how they got jammed and they got this and they got that, I'm like, I got jammed too. I got smacked.
Oh my God. So listen, we got to talk about this really quick. Defund the police, because we just do. And I don't think that there is a clear definition of what that looks like, but I do want to talk about some of the services that Redondo, and even if the sheriff's department does, that they provide, that defunding the police would alleviate, because I don't believe that people understand how money is allocated and the different services that are provided through these departments. So Gia, are there additional services that LA County Sheriff provides other than just the policing?
Well, yeah, we have, there's programs to deal with, you know, with homeless, what else? You know, we have the youth programs. There's a lot of things, because I'm not doing administrative work right now. I don't know everything that we do, but when people hear defund the police, people may think that that's going to take, you know, that, you know, police officers are not going to be out or are going to lose their jobs and stuff like that. Yeah, some of them could lose their jobs, but there's other parts of the department that could lose their jobs too. You know, we have a clerical side, you know, like the secretaries who enter information. You know, we have crime analysts, people like that they're also affected when you guys say defund the police, because it just depends on where the money's going to come from, the budget. You know, some police departments have a really big budget, and it gets allocated to a lot of different places. So they have to evaluate all of their departments to see how they can take money away from those departments to, you know, as far as defunding the police, if the budget gets cut. So it's not just when you hear defund the police, oh yeah, we're going to have less police officers, people going, you know, good. No, you know, sometimes, you know, it's the clerical staff that could go. It's some of the programs that are offered in the community that are sponsored by or put on by the police departments. Those programs could go. Your community involvement can go. Your community outreach officers and things like that can go. Your school resource officers, things that like that person could be affected. That item could be affected too. So it's a lot of things that could be effective, not just people that wear a gun and a badge, that when you say defund the police, because the police is the department has more than just officers. It has civilian staff too that play a huge role in the day-to-day operations of a police department. And those people can be affected by defunding the police.
John?
I don't really feel like we have additional positions that we would, cut if we were defunded. I think every position we have right now we use. School resource officers, community officers. I mean, how are we supposed to change people's feeling on the police? How are we supposed to, engage people so they trust us more with less engagement? And that's what'll happen. We already use clinicians. We partner our clinicians with our community outreach officers and our homeless outreach officers. We already do that. We've been doing that for years. We use Harbor Interfaith and PATH and Department of Mental Health. And we're not the only department that does that. A lot of departments do that, especially here in the South Bay. So we're already doing it. And the truth is, Department of Mental Health, I was involved in the MOU with them to get a clinician here to work. They won't work unless they're partnered up with a police officer. So the idea is just, it's not completely thought out. Department of Mental Health won't go out in place of a police officer to handle calls for service, calls that police officers should not. We still, although we do a lot of outreach, we still arrest probably, 30-ish people who are experiencing homelessness each month. But we don't just magically arrest them for no reason. We don't handcuff them and bring them in and go, don't know why. They're arrested because they've committed a crime. It could be drunk in public. It could be under the influence of drugs. It could be battery. It could be, possession of weapons, all kinds of things. And so what happens is a clinician will go out there. They're going to get confronted by somebody who might fit one of those categories. They're going to need a police officer to come and handle it anyways. I can absolutely see enhancing what we already do is in terms of partnering with Department of Mental Health and Harbor Interfaith and groups like that. But I just don't see where we could decrease a police position and give it to a clinician to do the work instead. I just don't think it would work. I think it was in Oregon recently, they had an outreach worker that filled the position like that was killed.
Mm.
But again, here we are again, defund the police came about when everyone's mad at the police department, then, defund, but when, it didn't come about just because it was, people were upset at what was going on in the communities, and they have a right to be upset. And then it's all of a sudden defund the police.
So one of the things that I am impressed with the department is their domestic violence unit and how they handle domestic violence. So I talk about in my book about the domestic violence that I witnessed growing up. And there used to be nothing that the officers would do that really ensured that this didn't happen again, or that the kids that were in the situation were cared for, right? It would happen, they would come out, they would, let the woman know, if you want to press charges, that's great, and we can handle that and get a restraining order. Otherwise, good luck, because y'all just gonna keep going through this, and would leave. And understanding that Redondo does have, in other departments, in other agencies, they have the opportunity to have a care dog, people that go out and help take care of the little people or the other people that are involved in their domestic violence unit is incredibly, it shows change, right? So walk me through really quick other ways that law enforcement has changed and are willing to change, not necessarily just to change other people's minds, but to show that we all know that people are afraid of change, but there are ways that we can change that are an improvement on what we have. And instead of defund the police, let's add more resources to the things that are a positive change. John?
Yeah, So that's a great example, our domestic violence advocate group. And, you know, that group is led by Erica Gonzalez, and it's been in place for years, that we have had advocates go out and talk to victims of domestic violence and family members. Other things we do, like you mentioned, we have, you know, we do the comfort dog. I mean, all that stuff has a price. You know, we've built up our community affairs unit. We have, you know, we recently purchased a community substation that we put out to various areas in the city. And talk about change. We're bringing the community in when we set up that trailer, that substation. We run the operations of the police department out of that thing for 24 hours, and we invite members of the community and that surrounding neighborhood to come, and they sit in on the briefings. And so they'll have daily briefings there for day shift, swing shift, and graveyard. And they'll sit in and they get to weigh in on the briefing. Hey, you know what? I got somebody that's running that stop sign at Phelan and Matthews all the time. Great. Hey, Smith, go out there and sit on that stop sign and write some traffic tickets.
Oh, dog, I'm about to slow down on that stop sign when I come over to visit, Tanya.
Right? It's a troubled area.
Yeah, I'm about to slow down.
But doing more of that type of stuff, where you're inviting, that's a big change. You know, inviting people from the community in to sit in and determine who the next lieutenant is in the organization. That's huge. To have the community weigh in on who the next command staff member is in the police department is a huge thing. So doing more of that. You know, they're partnering with, coming up with programs like partnering officers with clinicians. You know, but officers need to be trained on what they're going to do and what the response is, because it's different than just the normal patrol person. But with that being said, you can't have the normal patrol person being like ignorant to outreach and resource. So the training has to be department wide. But people can be specialists in certain roles. And that's what we need, specialists that can partner with clinicians to handle these types of problems that come up with mentally ill, domestic violence, people suffering from homelessness, you know, those types of things. It's expensive. It's not cheap. You can't do this and expect it to be perfect and change people's minds and change the way they feel about people and our organization. You can't do it on the cheap. You got to throw money at it.
Gia, what on your way out the door, what suggestions do you have for LA County Sheriff, or what are you guys doing currently that's different than maybe at the beginning of your career?
You want me to go back way back then to now? We have changed. We are the department. I've seen a change from when I first hired on to now. But I think we're changing with the environment, with the society, and we are engaging more and getting out and being with the community. There are a lot of more community advisory boards. I know the clergy have been really active and involved in the police departments and stuff, in our department and stuff. And so that's a change from, I'm sure, when I first hired on. That probably wasn't happening. But I'll leave with this. All I can say for both sides, the community and police departments, is engagement. Get engaged with your community, and the community get engaged with your police department. Because like you said, we can all learn from one another. You'll be surprised what you can learn by going to when Redondo Beach has their mobile stations and stuff, sitting in. You'll get a lot of insight, and then vice versa. Police officers can learn a lot from just talking with the local community and stuff. And and that's the thing. We just have to get to know one another in the good times, and not just when it's the bad times.
Yeah, appreciate that. Anything else, John, before we wrap up?
I appreciate you as always.
Love it. So listen, Gia, let them know from Mahogany Box standpoint what you have coming up. John, is there anything coming up in Redondo that the public can participate in? And yeah, what's good? What else is going on?
Well, as far as Mahogany Box, right now I don't have anything coming up because COVID and the governor has shut everything down. So I don't think I'll be doing any pop-ups for at least the next 3 weeks or so. But you can always find me on Instagram at The Mahogany Box and also on Facebook at The Mahogany Box. I'll be coming out with some, I'm always creating something. So, look for something new from me. I just can't sit around and do nothing. So I will be doing some things. Oh yeah. I don't know if we're going to have a podcast before my surgery, but I'll be having surgery next month, January the 4th to be exact. I'm having surgery on my wrist. So I'll be out of commission for a little while. You guys keep me in prayer that everything goes fine and I can get back to, doing things with my hands because I love working with my hands. So yeah, that's the only thing that I have really going on.
John?
Good. Thank you. Yeah, we're COVID's got us kind of handcuffed, so to speak, too. So we're still trying to do events. We've done a couple of community events. They were more like pop-up type things, trying to surprise people where we show up. We were doing snow cones in the park and kind of way to. Santa Claus is happening. Yeah, it's I think it kicks off next week. It's going to be different. We're not stopping at every block. We're going to be driving through over the course of a week, but it's on our website. And Tanya, I think you got an email from the community board on it.
Is she going to be an elf?
She's going to be an elf this year.
Don't be giving ideas.
We'll be throwing high speed, throwing lollipops at people down the North Redondo Beach. It's going to be wonderful.
There's a couple residents I might want to hit in the head, but we'll just keep that there.
I'll put a list together too. So yeah, that Santa Sleigh's coming up. That's always a great thing. I wish we could do more of it. So yeah, we're just trying to still do events safely, and trying to figure out what that is. So I think we're going to take pretty much December off, reevaluate in January. We will be doing some more though. As far as the station's concerned, we're constantly looking at safety of the officers. We've got the check-in process at in the lobby. So everybody comes in, every employee comes in, takes their temperature, fills out a log, sanitizes, puts on a mask in the station at all times. Anytime you walk around the station or you're in a public office, you wear your mask. We've got, I took a donation of 10,000 of the KN95 masks. We have full jumpsuits, masks galore, gloves. We're still trying to do social distancing in policing, which is a lot of phone calls to people, reports over the phone, follow up in person if need be. But it's definitely a different time, and we're just trying to keep everybody safe here in the station and the community as well.
Awesome. Well, for Sand and Shores, we have a mastermind coming up. So anybody that wants to work on their business and try to get right for the new year, definitely check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Sand and Shores is our handle. And other than that, you know where to find me. And that's it, guys. I want to thank you for being open, honest, having this conversation. There's so much more we could actually dig in. And as usual, I'm sure after people see this, we'll have more. And I will send them your way so that you can answer them, because we are not afraid to have the tough conversations and be honest about things that are on our mind. So thank you so much. And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.